Well, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Haven't put anything on here for a little while. I was away for a whole week last week in South Australia's iconic Flinders Ranges in the outback. It's about 4 hours drive from here, from Adelaide. Wonderful ancient mountain ranges and various scenes, great vistas of mountain ranges and gorges to drive through. So I went with my friend Jim and we travelled around in our Kia Sportage, or my Kia Sportage wagon, and had a great time. I took some video, mainly still photography, and I haven't been able to get that up onto YouTube yet. I had the dash cam for the whole 4 days. I had my dash cam going in the front of the window of the car. So I've actually recorded the whole trip on dash cam. In reviewing the footage, I was a bit disappointed because there was a reflection in the windscreen of the actual iris of the camera. But if you overlook that and get used to looking at that, you can still see some wonderful scenery. However, that's going to come later. I looked back some 20 years ago, did the same trip with my in-laws and my wife and her sister, and I took a whole lot of footage on the Canon XL1, which I reviewed on this channel back in May. I was looking at that the other day, and that was pretty good. So I'm hoping to try and get some video of that trip plus this trip up on YouTube before too much longer. My problem at the moment is that I'm a bit lagging behind in some of my technology. I'm using old cameras, old computers, old software, all sorts of things, and I've got things all over the place, scattered everywhere. I've got footage, I've got mini DV tapes and VHS, super VHS tapes, all sorts of stuff. So I'm having to do a complete overhaul soon so I can actually stay on the air, I think. However, today I thought, just to whet the appetite for a little bit more YouTube, I did back in May talk about the Canon XL1 video camera, mini DV camera, which I used on lots of holidays, as I just mentioned, and my youngest son was actually doing some wedding videos and he was using that for a while as well. But before we started using that, we decided to invest in what's called Super VHS video technology, video cameras, which was a little bit notch above, a bit higher notch above the VHS format. Similar cameras, same sort of cartridge, however it was a Super VHS and it gave you more lines of resolution, is how they used to put it in those days. So I started off with a basic VHS Panasonic video camera and then graduated to the Panasonic Super VHS. I ended up with 3 of these. I still have one now, and so I'm going to show you that today. I'm not going to plug it in and turn it on, but I'll just show you what it looks like and talk a little bit about the ins and outs of how we used to use it. This one still works. The batteries don't work anymore, and I'll explain how you can power these things if you don't have batteries for them. I think you can still get them somewhere on the internet. Anyway, let's have a look at what's in the box. I've just got it here. It comes in this beautiful big case there like that. It's pretty solid. We open it up. And you have a look inside. I don't know whether you can see any of that. There's the camera and some accessories, and I'll just pull it out and see what we've got here. There are other reviews of these cameras that younger people have done on YouTube, I've noticed just recently, but I'm an older school person that was using them, not just a young person that's thought they're cute and I'll buy one and have a play with it. So I'll just pull this out. That down there. I haven't got much room in here. One of my problems is I'm a bit of a collector and a hoarder, and I've got stuff everywhere. I've been having a bit of a clean out today. That's why you've got a little bit different background today, looking at these videos in another corner of the room. So anyway, here we go. This is the beast, if you like. It's got a built-in or a lens hood attached to it there, and you've got this lens cap to put on the front. Also served to use if you want to set your white balance manually as well. We've got this comes out, viewfinder. It's got a black and white viewfinder. I think this, yeah, that slides out a bit. like that. It's a shoulder mounted camera, so you get up on here like this and you look through it there. You've got your zoom controls just over here, close to your fingers. Over here on the side here, this is, you can rest your head against that, but this is also a speaker, a loudspeaker, so you can play back footage and hear the sound coming back through it. Number of connections on the back. You can connect it up to a TV. What do we got there? Edit. You used to, we had 2 Super VHS tape decks to do editing with this, linear tape decks, not non-linear, and copy from tape to tape, and that's what we were using to do weddings with. So there's a video out. There's a remote control that comes with this. I don't know whether I had one or not. And there's also a DC in 12 volts. So I've actually got a lead that I can plug in. I can still use this by plugging it into my car cigarette lighter, 12 volt outlet, because I've got a very long cord. So I could have conceivably, on my trip to the Flinders Ranges, taken this around with me and shot out the car window by plugging it into the cigarette lighter, which probably wouldn't have been all that great. But anyway, that's all. And up on the top here, this is in the shooting mode at the moment, but when you slide this little thing back there like that, that's your playback and review and cue and all that sort of stuff. Up here is where the battery goes in. I've still got some batteries, but they're flat. They were those sort of lead batteries that they lose their power and then you can't get them back. On the side here, we've got low light settings, white balance settings, shutter speed auto, manual portrait, a whole lot of different settings. I've still got the instruction books for these things. Interval recording. What's up there? Focus. You can do manual focus if you wish to. It's got a zoom, 12 times zoom lens, and you can also adjust the shutter. So there's lots of adjustments. It was what they called a prosumer camera before the mini DV format came out. Nice microphone here, stereo microphone with a nice windsock on the top. You could operate this from here, of course, when you put your hand up in here. In there, that's where you press the button there to start the camera on and off. And up here you've got your rocker for your zoom. You can zoom it like that. And yeah, so there you go. It's a very nice camera. The VHS video compartment comes in there. This is still in pretty good condition. And if I got some proper power, what we did with this when we were using it before, because the batteries would run out, and I used to film lots of kids' lacrosse matches and things like that using this camera, and invariably you'd have to have a couple of cameras on the go because a lacrosse game was a fairly long game. So if you went anywhere to use this or film a pantomime or a stage show or something like that, you had to have batteries charging up in the background unless you had extra batteries, or you plug it into the PowerPoint. There is a PowerPoint gadget here. Let's have a look and see. This is your power connection. I could connect this up to the power now. Got connections on the back of it, and I would be able to demonstrate, but I've got too many other things I'm trying to do today, so I just thought I'd just give you a quick look at this. So yeah, you can turn it on and off with the power like that. There are other things in here. I'll show you what a battery looks like. That's the actual battery that goes in it. And I used to have about 4 of those, number them, so I knew which one I was up to and how much power I had left when we were using them. So, but they've all died since then. I could probably turn that on and it might last for about a minute before it died again. And then up here, what have we got in this little compartment here? This is a connection to plug from the back of the camera into your television and playback on through your TV. This is in the days before digital TV, of course, but you'd still be able to do it with other cameras. And these little clips here clipped onto the actual battery, so you could then plug it into the charger that I showed you before and charge the batteries through those little clips. That's what they were for. So all in all, it's a very comprehensive camera, and used to love this camera and the other ones that we had. Probably did about, I don't know, maybe half a dozen weddings my son did with this. He ended up working in the motion film industry, doing special effects on Hollywood movies and things like that. He still works here in Adelaide doing similar stuff. He's now with a third company in the digital media world of film editing. So he started off just with basically an 8mm movie camera, film movie camera, playing around with that, doing stop motion animation, and then he graduated to a Super 8 movie camera, and then I used to lend him one of these, a similar VHS camera to this, which I used to bring home from work, and he started learning his stuff using that. And the first wedding that I ever did, or he did with me, I was doing the stills and he was doing the actual movies of the wedding, and he used this camera here, the one that I've just been showing you. So there you go. If you want to see some of the photos I've been taking, it's going to be a little while because I'm struggling with the technology, as I said, at the moment, to get things up onto YouTube unless I actually do it through my phone. So if you wanted to see some of the photos that I've been taking in the Flinders Ranges last week, I'll be putting them on my blog, and there'll be a link in the preamble to this video showing you the link to the blog, and you'll be able to have a look at some of the photos that I've been taking or took last week in the Flinders Ranges, and there'll be descriptions of what it's all about. So thanks for watching. I hope you've found that camera interesting. I'd love to demonstrate it, but it's a bit hard. I'm not so good at doing that sort of thing these days. And but I also note, someone asked me the other day if I would go back and do some more work on actually demonstrating the METS 45 flash, which I did a video on a while back. I haven't forgotten that request. That was a few days ago. I'll have a look at doing that before too much longer. And someone actually asked me, how do you use one of those METS 45 flashes in the dark? I don't know that I ever used it in the dark other than indoors, and a couple of times I had to use it in low light when I was taking still wedding photos in a dark situation when it got quite dark, doing the wedding party and the family shots. However, there you go. That's all for today. I'll still be putting a few things on YouTube, but I might slow down a little bit while I try and get my act together. I've got my eye on a decent movie camera, which will do everything I want it to do, and also probably got my eyes on a Canon 800D, which I think will do everything I want that to do as well. So watch this space. Thanks for watching again. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow up and see what's going on. Have a look at my blogs. There's all sorts of things on there. And I'm also on Flickr. I think that's on my YouTube channel. You can go up to Flickr on the top right hand screen there. There's a link to my Flickr photos. I put photos on there from time to time. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I've lost my little jigger to turn the thing on and off, so I've got to come up here and do this. Here we go.